Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville and you're on the lifeboat. And this morning, we're going to be talking about I hate that. So, we're going to talk about drug addicts this morning. 7th, thank you very much. Charlie, I appreciate you. I understand Monk didn't bring any confetti. Well, you got 365 days, Monk. Get it put together. Tighten up your game. Thank you, Full of Hope. I appreciate all of you. I really do. Thank you. It means a lot. It really does. It was, let's see. It was 41 days ago tomorrow that I tried drugs for the first time. 41 years ago tomorrow. So this is always an odd time of the year for me. It's funny. You got to come up with 2 hours a week, and things come up like birthdays and holidays, and there are things that you talk about. Good morning, Kelly. There are things that you end up talking about because there's no way to really not talk about them. But then you sit and you try to figure out other topics that you can talk about for an hour. This is a long time to sit and talk extemporaneously, and you wind up covering. There are certain subjects that we've probably done 100 times. I just found a watch that I've been looking for. It's going to be a good birthday. I've been looking for that thing forever. So you sit, you come up with subjects, and I'll be honest with you, a bunch of them end up coming from emails that I get from you, and I don't ever use anyone's name or do anything like that. And if it's deeply personal, obviously I don't talk about it. But I get a ton of inspiration from emails, and I got an email, and the cool thing is that the person that sent this email doesn't watch the Lifeboat. Doesn't mean they don't know what the Lifeboat is, but they don't watch the Lifeboat. They may have stopped by once, but things that they said made it pretty obvious that they don't actually watch the Lifeboat. But they were making a comment about somebody on the boat, and they said something to the effect of, and I may be paraphrasing a little bit, but something to the effect of, how could that person do that? This is supposed to be the Lifeboat. And it was in reference to who cares what. It could be in reference to a relapse. It could be in reference to somebody being dishonest. It could be in reference to anything that is done that is less than, that wouldn't be deemed good form by society, right? Pick your favorite transgression. But that's that was the tone and the timbre of the email, of the letter. And I sat there and I read this, and at first, I'm very protective of the Lifeboat, and even more so of the people that are on it. You know what I mean? This really has become a very, very large family for me. Look, a cat. It has very much become a very, very large family, and that's awesome. It really is. But it puts me on edge, so I had to sort of take a deep breath and do some deep breathing exercises, and then sit down to respond. And I'm glad that I did, because by the time I was sitting down and getting ready to respond, I wrote, "Of course, I can imagine someone doing X, Y, and Z. Of course that this is something that." I didn't have a problem seeing coming. We are, as of this morning, let's see, we'll do this all proper like. There are 4,657 of us. 4,657 of us in under 2 years. We're doing great. We really are. We're doing fantastic. However, there are 2,467 drug addicts, right? addicts. These are people that have problems with substance abuse. And make no mistake, having a problem with substance abuse means that this isn't a boat of flawless individuals. It's I view the lifeboat in many ways like church, right? Another analogy, since a lot of you would prefer I don't go that route. Another analogy we talk about all the time in here, and we use it as an example, is you would not expect to go to an oncologist and say, I'm here for because I have cancer, and have the oncologist go, you've got cancer? Get the hell out of here, right? We don't want anybody who's sick in this place. Drug addiction is a disease that lasts your entire life. A few days ago, I celebrated 8 years of being heroin free and having that not be a part of my my day-to-day life, and prior to that, I did it for a really long time. I am sober. I do not have any fear, or there just is not a chance of me going back and relapsing or doing heroin. Simply put, there just is not a chance of that happening. But I'm a drug addict. I'm a heroin addict, and I will be until the day that I die. There are, if you were on the boat on my sobriety date, I talked about the fact that, I got the letter from the United States of America via my the attorney's office. I get an email that says, "You're free. You are no longer under any supervision," and it had a long list of all of the of the things that meant. And I don't remember what number it was on the list, but one of the first three was that I could get on a plane and I could travel anywhere I want in the U.S. or in the world, as long as I have all of the paperwork. I've got visas or whatever, and a country will accept me. I can travel. I can do whatever I want. And I thought, oh, that's cool. And I kept reading down. That was a big one because it means I can speak. It means I can do a lot of things. And as I started going down the list, when I got to the very last one, I swear to you, it was like my brain just put another number on there. And that one said, you can go get high. You can do whatever you want, and no one is ever going to give you a drug test. You would think after 8 years of being sober, and after 2 hours a day, for a very, very long time, doing videos and talking to people and working on addiction and basically not doing anything but talking about addiction. And yet one of the first things that hits my mind as soon as I got that paper was, if I wanted to get high, I could get high. I don't have anything hanging over me. I don't have to worry about drug tests. I don't have to worry about any of the things that made it impossible for me to do drugs for the last, 2 decades, 3 decades. I have been on some form of supervised paper or release or whatever, or pre-trial. I've basically had somebody looking over my shoulder since I was in my teens. I was struggling to try to think of a time that I didn't have that hanging over my head, but not even for a half a second did I consider going and getting high. I hope you guys can see the distinction of what I'm talking about. I was not in any threat of relapse at all. But my brain, being the brain of a drug addict, instantly added one more number to that list and said, you got nothing to worry about. There's nobody looking over your shoulder. If you want to go and do this, you can. I don't. I'm not in any danger of it. I wasn't in any danger of it that day. But it was a really weird feeling. It was a very, very odd feeling because I spend so much time talking about drugs and relapse prevention and all of that, that this is one of those things that was painful. Truthfully, it was painful to me to have this memory hit me, but it's just like the email. I mean, in all honesty, it's not any different than the email. I'm a broken individual. And of the 4,657 people on the lifeboat, I'm the only one, right, at any given time that has a camera pointing this way, right? The rest of the crew of the lifeboat just sits in a different seat, but it is the exact same thing, obviously, Heather and Mark and all of the other fine keisters that have graced the captain's chair on the lifeboat. Uncle Bull Cow. Wow. Good morning and welcome to the lifeboat. It's a good friend of my much, much older brother Johnny's. Yeah. So the email was hysterically funny, and the concept is there. You know, people there are groups all over this planet that get together and meet. Getting sober, AA, NA things, that's one of them. And a lot of times people describe AA or NA as almost cult-like. It comes up a lot in the comment section. Whenever I bring up AA or NA, people describe it as being somewhat like a cult. And I think that a lot of times rehabilitation centers, sobriety meetings, things like that tend to take on that kind of an appearance. And I think that one of the reasons that it does is we are trying as hard as we can to brainwash ourselves. It's exactly what we're trying to do. The purpose of getting sober is reprogramming your brain from the bottom all the way to the top, or from the top all the way to the bottom, however you look at it. But it is a very, very real thing. The transformation that happens, the transformation that has to happen when somebody goes from being a person living an active addiction, regardless of what the substance is, no matter how bad the substance is or is not messing up your life. This is another one that I get in the mail all of the time. And there's something funny to it. You know, I describe addiction, and most people do, as the continued use of a substance or a habit in the face of all kinds of bad things happening to you. So whenever I talk about that, I get an email from somebody that says, I don't have any bad things happening to me. I do drugs every single day. There's nothing at all bad happening to me in my life. And I always want to say, what the hell are you doing on the lifeboat? Right? You're out there getting wasted every single day and everything is groovy and you're just having a great time. What the hell are you doing here? How did you find this? You know, what made you stumble onto the deck of the lifeboat? Because first of all, I've said this on the boat before. I know a ton of people who abuse drugs, aren't addicted to them, and I don't have any problem at all with anybody's drug use. I really don't. I absolutely could care less what people do. As long as the addiction part is the part that I struggled with, and it's the reason that the lifeboat is up and running, is because I wanted to bring the message that if I could do it, anyone can do it. But for somebody to stumble across this channel who is absolutely having a ball and having nothing at all negative happen because of their drug use, I've never met that person. Not in real life. I've never met that person. Drugs have a way of insidiously getting into the smallest cracks of life and pushing everything out wider. Snot face. Good to see you, hon. Glad that you're here this morning. Glad I got a chance to say, hey, snot face. Allison Stacy, good to see you. Annette. I have so much extra coffee this morning. Will you join me? I will, in fact. So I'm on this kick with creamer, hazelnut. I know hazelnut divides people like very few substances. Hazelnut divides people. It really, you don't find too many people who just say, I'm sorry, did I not throw the pinky up? I really thought I did. Perhaps not. I personally love hazelnut creamer, and I'm on this hazelnut creamer I've actually been on it for a couple of months, but I'm on this kick where I really don't like drinking any coffee unless it has it. Let's see something, yeah, because this looks important. I came to understand my son's struggles with addiction, but found very healing advice and help for my trauma and mental health. Great community. T-Gun, what a very cool thing to say. You know what? I'm glad that you said that too. I really am. Will haven't bought any alcohol in about 6 weeks. I fell into a relapse last year. Thank God I got away from it. Thank God I was right, Will. Well done. Hazelnut is good creamer. I agree, Tony. A lot of people don't like it though. I came to understand my son's struggles with addiction, but found very healing advice and help for my trauma and mental health. The reason you did is mental health and trauma are such a huge part of everybody's struggle with drugs that there's an overlap. There's a massive amount of overlap between the advice that helps people get off of drugs and the advice that helps people heal. There is a huge overlap between the two of them. And you don't have to subscribe to this belief, but I absolutely do, that drugs are a way for individuals to escape and for individuals to cope with things that are going on in their life. It becomes a coping mechanism above and beyond the ones that we were given by God, nature, the universe, evolution, a puddle of slime, whatever makes you happy. I believe in God, but it's completely up to you. And you know, on every major holiday here on the Lifeboat, on the really big ones, I often make a small statement about my faith. This is always good to trim about half of the people that are in the live chat, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's important to me, and I feel like a hypocrite when I don't do it, especially on birthdays. Today is my birthday. If you enough of the people, I had honestly back in the day, I had anticipated. I said to my brother Johnny, he said, "You're going to have a heart attack when you see the number of people that are going to reach out to you as a YouTuber and say happy birthday." He said it will lock your phone and your computer up for a day. Now, Johnny has, 25,000 times more. No, Johnny has 25 times the size of the audience here, maybe 30 times the size of the audience here. So, but he's right. And I said to him, the difference is you told everybody what your birthday was in the beginning. He said, no, I didn't. I said, they just figured it out. He said, somehow they did. And I said, well, I don't intend to tell anybody. And the very first year that I was out of prison and I was on the internet, it was before I even started the Lifeboat. And the number of people who wished me happy birthday, because my brother has been talking for years about the distance between our two birthdays and yada, yada. But the number of people who reached out and said happy birthday, even in the last, even starting yesterday, it's just been a pinch overwhelming. But when you hit milestones like this, I end up looking backwards, and this is my 8th birthday without being a drug addict. So, which sounds a lot better than how long I've actually been on the planet. The whole I'm 8 years old thing sounds better to me. But I have, honestly, it's been about, the vast majority of the time that I spent on this planet, I spent wasted. And the fact that I got sober after 46 years is something that is very much an act of God with the help of the people that he put in my life. But I am if Johnny had his way, your name would be Fire Truck. It's true. That's what my brother asked for my brother asked for his 4th birthday. He wanted a fire truck, and they brought me home on his birthday and sort of handed me to him. And that was his response. Kind of became famous in my family. If you ever watch Johnny when he's filming in his kitchen, on the refrigerator behind him, you will see a fire truck. That fire truck is from the same year that I was born. A former crew member here on the boat gave that to my brother as a gift. It's a pretty great gift. Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. I wouldn't be here without the power of Christ in my life. not going to shove it down anyone's throat, but it's an important thing on days like my birthday or other days that are really pivotal in my life. I don't want to make anybody on the lifeboat uncomfortable. It's not what I'm trying to do, but I don't want to make me uncomfortable either. And it's a pretty big. This is a big one. I don't know. This has been this is an odd birthday, man. This is a really odd birthday. It's and it's been it's also strange being what am I now, about 12 or 1300 miles away from where I've lived when not incarcerated for a very long time. Hey, holy hell, Jack, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. Oh, it is. Yeah, and it's full of hope. Says great afternoon. It's says 7th. Yeah, it's running different. I believe Full of Hope is 8 hours. 8 years is really significant. Thank you, Kathy. It's a long time. Full of Hope. How about some ones up there for Full of Hope? So last night, once again, peeps, had another big fireworks display, although not nearly as big as the previous night. But so far we've had June 30th. We had a big display over. I'm not exactly sure what part of Tucson. To the left, when you look out my backyard, it is yard. It's not a yard, but when you look at the back of my house, way over to the left is where I saw the first show. Last night I was hearing the sounds. I thought Squirrel was going through cabinets because there's just this snap, snap, thump, 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 thump. And then I realized it was fireworks going off in the front yard, and I walked out and looked up and saw the boom, and it was saw the display, and it was fairly impressive. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do on the 4th proper, unless they do it tonight. But I'm definitely going to do a quick live on that, just so that you guys can see the. I've just it's probably just stress. Oh, I know. You know what? We'll just double down on that one. Full of Hope is having a visit tomorrow that could be stressful. Could be, and that's a stupid thing to say. She's having a visit tomorrow that will be ridiculously stressful. Unpredictable Tony, thank you, my brother. Welcome to Green. This is the only time you will ever hear me on the lifeboat talk about how it is so much better to be green. Although, so when I bought the house, in the garage is a really ridiculous setup for charging electric cars. And it has been, let's see, yesterday was 108 degrees. Today, I think, is going to be 108 or 109. This is the absolute worst part of the year in Tucson. This was definitely the time to move here. It's great though, because I'm in the pool a lot, and the more you swim, the cleaner a pool gets. It's so it's my excuses. I'm just getting out there and I'm cleaning the pool. It's really nice at night when the sun goes down. I go out and I swim for an hour or so. Grand rising to all, and happy Earth Strong Jamaican for birthday. And I think you've accessed your Christ conscious, Captain. Well, thank you. That is I would love to believe that would be true. I would love that. I really would. I am trying to walk in a way that has been better than the previous 52 years I spent on this planet. This 53rd year, trying to up my game. And Patrick Taylor, big fan of the spice. Surprised you didn't know that. Patrick, you got to admit, there's something to really burning the crap out of yourself with a pepper to give you an unbelievable feeling. It was over 100 here too, plus poor air quality from Canada smoke. Oh yeah. I forgot what part of the country you're in, Kathy, north, south, east, or west. But yeah, that smoke, I guess, is really tearing up parts of the U.S. The The air quality here has been great. The air quality here has been great. And you know what? I've told this story on the boat before. Prior to doing federal time, I had been to Arizona, like in and out. I was in Phoenix back when the Phoenix Lights phenomenon happened. I was speaking in Phoenix. Hey, Keith, good to see you. That was the day that I was actually speaking in the city of Phoenix. I was there when that mass sighting of I was on the balcony smoking a cigarette and actually saw that. True story. But I had never been in Arizona for any length of time, a day here, a day there, and always inside. And then I got sentenced to federal prison. And the first yard I went to was in Phoenix. And Phoenix gets a different kind of hot than Tucson. I know that may sound silly as hell because they're only a couple of hours away from each other, but it is a different animal, just absolutely a different animal. And that I got to Phoenix, the Federal Corrections Institution in Phoenix, on the 11th of January 11th, 2009. And that was, I did about a year on that yard. And it was I did more than that. I did 16 months on that yard. And it was a kind of hot that you can't wrap your brain around. And prison in a place like this, like I've got air conditioning that I can control and turn up and down or whatever. And I got a pool in the backyard I can jump into. And I got a refrigerator full of cold stuff. And, all of those different things that make it a whole lot different. When you're incarcerated, you just sweat your nards off, and there's not really a whole lot that you can do about it. And if the temperature in the unit's too hot, you get online to try to take showers. And to keep people from using too much water at that time of year, they literally turn the heat on the water on the shower. They crank it up so that you really can't take a cold one. Well, Kathy, how about some prayers for Kathy, who's leaving for Denver for the international, I believe, clarinet conference? Or is that, because I know that you play a musical instrument for a living. So I'm assuming that's clarinet. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's got to be exciting. And just pop in and see us. Kath, just pop in and see us when you get a minute. Stop in and tell us how you're doing and shoot some video, right? If there's anything cool happening with music, please video it. Seventh Son's got my back. He says, you are right. She does play the clarinet. Just clarinetists are a bit snarky. Uh-oh, snarky. You know what, people? If you spent any time over on my brother's channel, I love the word snark. I absolutely love the word snark. That is awesome, Kath. The numbers. There's no ignorance here, T-Gun. The correct thing that you did just then was, you ask questions on the boat and you'll find out what's going on. So look, I don't remember how long ago this was, and I don't remember exactly how it started. But what it comes down to is I can go, great job for being sober, right? You can't. I can say, you know what? My thoughts and prayers are going out to Kathy, who's getting ready to fly to Denver. And she's a little stressed out about that. Nobody else can say, yeah, I'm doing that too. So what started is the one. And the one basically says, you know what? I'm praying for Kathy too. Or I'm clapping my hands too. It gives the audience an opportunity to do what I'm doing. Jennifer Rice. Who is not Jennifer Rice? I'm just saying, Kathy, when I get anxiety, I take extra St. John's wort, ashwagandha, or olive leaf extract. Feel better ASAP. And you know what? I would put a crap load of stock into everything that Jennifer Rice, who's not Jennifer Rice, is saying. Because Jennifer Rice, who's not Jennifer Rice, is an absolute authority on anything holistic, healthy. Nothing like bassoonist, though, says John Doe. Yes. And I think that the bassoonists probably live up to the reputation that they have. Wild men and women. Insanity. Full of Hope says, I would be anxious too. There's an ex-narcissist there. And the head games are horrible, but yes, I'm going to have a great time. You know what, Kath? You're walking in there, if you don't mind me commenting. You're walking in there with a stink load of power. You're in a much different position, I think, than you would have been before. You spend a lot of time talking about your head space and what's going on. If you've never seen any of the shows that we've done on rent in your dome, you've, I'm sure, heard the expression, you don't let people, rent space in your head. And it's something that I used to be really, really bad at. In fact, I would say that the most growth that I have achieved in my life is in not caring what people think or say about me, or just being able to be very comfortable with who I am, regardless of all of the BS that can come around on the outside. I would recommend wholeheartedly to anyone who struggles with thank you, V. Appreciate that. To anybody that struggles with confidence, or if you find yourself having really thin skin and you want to work on it really quickly, I would recommend starting a YouTube channel. The amount that you will have to. Well, I'm glad that you're here, V. Thank you for getting up. John Hopkins, Musics for Psychedelic Therapy excerpt, and a song made by a neuroscientist called Weightless by Marconi Union, which reduces anxiety by 65%. Fascinating. John Hopkins, Music for Psychedelic Therapy. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I think that there is a crap load of there's a lot of power in music. Kathy, you're going to be walking in there this time, realizing that, number one, you're not letting this narcissist get to you, right? You're far beyond that. If you go in knowing this individual intends to play mind games, or there's going to be any of that going on, you can just disassociate yourself from that. You really can. Music is powerful. And I'll bet Kath has a real handle on that, seeing as she is a professional, at least one of two professional musicians. M. Hunt is also a professional musician, plays a lot of instruments. Allison Stacy says, I'm screenshot all this information. I love it. You know what? He, because that's not a she, is super knowledgeable, super talented. There are so many people here on the lifeboat that I'm telling you, this comments section, I mean, this is the boat. Hold on. Johns Hopkins adds to anxiety. How odd. See, I don't know John Hopkins. I'm going to have to check this out so that I can weigh in on this. Johns Hopkins. I'm going to have to weigh in on this. You know what, Kathy? It's Kathy says, thank you all. It's just, it is helpful just to talk to you guys. That's the basis for this entire thing. Am I right? Just guitar, no words, says V. Okay. Never listened to it. Never even was aware of it. Oh, Justin Johnson you were listening to last night. Kathy, it's the basis and the backbone of the lifeboat and of this brand of sober living, right? The basis of every single thing that we do is that we don't do this with any of it. We don't hold anything inside ever. If there's something that's bothering us, we talk about it with somebody, preferably somebody on the boat, or preferably somebody that understands. But it can be journaling. It can be talking to yourself, right? or R2D2. I'll probably have to shut him off or he'll do this all day. Yeah, I have an R2D2 on the desk. In fact, he came out of a box yesterday. Tell me he's not a bad R2, huh? He used to be on a shelf behind me with a hat on. I think I'm going to send him to my bobbleheaded partner as a birthday gift. He's huge into Star Wars. And this guy's great. If you talk to him on the floor, if you mention the right character's name, he blows donuts and freaks out and goes nuts. He can also carry a drink into another room. Sorry, hold on. I don't care for Johns Hopkins personally. I just care about what works for me. Well, that's the way to go, Tony. And you know what? The beautiful thing about this journey and the beautiful thing about 4,000 people here being here, you got John Doe, for whom this is the, that stuff drives anxiety through the roof. However, every single set of circumstances are unique. Even if you're twin brothers, right? It would be unique. Every addiction is different. One of the things that makes the book fantastic is people who come here and say, you know what, this worked for me. This works for me. And like I've said, like on the parenting show the other day, right? When you get to a point where you need to learn something about a thing, regardless of what that thing is, now that we have all of this crap, we got, in your hand, you got artificial intelligence to give you any information you want. You got Google and you got Bing and you've got everybody out there. There's no reason. Lisa K, good morning. Glad that you're here. There's no reason that you can't research the dog crap out of everything. So research everything. And if it doesn't work for you, crap it, right? Get rid of it. But if it works for you, then you build an arsenal of tools that you can stick in a bag so that on the days that things get tough, you have a set of tools to get through. I mean, the bridges are so small, people. They really are. If you're new to the sobriety thing, the longer that you're sober, the less bridges you have to cross anyway. But the bridges get you from, feeling relatively good to dog crap to relatively good. You got to get through those, you bridge over those really bad sections of life, so to speak. And it's not usually weeks of talking and therapy. When the desire comes up to use, normally if you can rewire the brain, if you can get yourself off of what you're thinking about for 10, 15 minutes, usually it's enough. Unless you feed into it. Unless when that first thought, unless when that first thought comes on and hits you, you sit down and you focus on it. You stop doing everything else you're doing in life and you start to focus whole cloth, laser focused in on whatever's bothering you. The more time we spend, focused on those things, the more trouble that we're in. Lemmy, good to see you, man. Glad that you're here. Scoob. Good to see you, Scoob. Hope you're doing well. I agree, Tommy. Rewiring the mind along with self. So let me try this one more time. I agree, Tommy. Rewiring the mind along with self-control along the way, you become self-powering over so much. If the whole principle for all of this to me, right, is the learning and the collecting of a set of tools that will get me through the best and the worst of times. As an addict, sometimes the best of times are tough too. Today, if you're just getting here, is my birthday. And I spent more than a decade of birthdays without anybody even uttering the phrase "Happy Birthday." Right? I didn't tell anybody inside when my birthday was. You don't necessarily. I don't know. There are guys inside that make a big deal about it, and they go and buy booze and get drunk on their birthdays, or they buy a bunch of food and they put on a big spread for people. Man, I didn't want to sit there and spend an entire day concentrating on the fact that another year of my life in prison had gone by, and I struggled with birthdays in there. They were a bitch, and now I'm out, and it's just a completely different animal, right? There's this sort of celebratory thing that goes on. If you cannot rewire your bad behavior and learn self-control, you will never go forward. That is his view and his opinion. I think it's pretty solid. It's like having the best Swiss Army knife. Holy crap, what a great comment. Annette, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you very much. Should I celebrate turning 70? Why not? My father, Papa Scoville, was fond of the phrase, getting old sucks, but it beats the hell out of the alternative. Right? Of course you should celebrate turning 70. And I'll tell you something, all of the crap about this used to really make me laugh, especially when I was on drugs. But I'm the generation where the whole, 30 is the new 20 thing started, right? Honestly, that really became a thing. And I'm not making this up. I actually researched it. And it's probably the internet that drives all of these things, because when those of us of a certain age, certainly John Doe's age, there was no internet, there was no any of that stuff. We're a group of people who grew up a lot different. Hold on one second, people. I got out of my depth on another channel. I was telling about Fent, and they started asking about the others. Croc, Trank. Sorry, I couldn't remember. Thankfully, no mention of the lifeboat. No, that's all good. And you know what? I mean, look, you can get out of as addicted. Every single belly button birthday is a miracle. I think that there's really something to that. You're absolutely right. The being out and being in a different thing. And when I was incarcerated, birthdays made me want to do dope because life was miserable. On the street, birthdays make you want to do dope because life is fantastic. And it's a pretty good illustration of just how much either emotion can take a drug addict and drive them in the wrong direction. As far as Croc and Trank, Croc is a drug that gained popularity in Russia, in that part of the world. Basically, what it comes down to is it's a bathtub version of a drug that was made in the 30s, but they make it with the use of codeine and, believe it or not, stuff like diesel fuel, stuff to break codeine down. There's very few ingredients. It's an opiate, and it rots the hell out of your skin. Even if you don't miss the vein, it will disintegrate the vein every time you shoot in I can't remember what doctors call it. There's an infusion process, I guess, that takes place, right? Where it literally just like works through your veins, and people end up with a very leathery skin. So crocodile is what the croc stuff is. And Trank is the new drug that is hauling ass across the United States of America. And it's a tranquilizer that is an equine tranquilizer. It's supposed to be used on large mammals in veterinary settings, not in human beings. It's called xylazine, and the xylazine is then mixed with any opiate, but more often than not fentanyl, and that's they call that drug Trank. The show Vice has amazing shows on Trank. The show Vice is I I enjoy Vice. I know that they're in trouble right now, which kind of stinks, but yeah, I enjoyed the I enjoy a lot of what Vice does. I mean, maybe enjoying is the wrong way. I watch it a lot. Sorry. You can open and close your Swiss Army knife often. Eventually, you will learn how to use all those tools. Super handy. Yeah, and eventually you can flick that thing out. You don't even have to open it. Because switchblade action. I should have said go to the lifeboat. I panicked. So many questions. People are really concerned. Not a big deal, full of hope. I've done that on the boat. I was talking to a border patrol agent that was working with the DEA and on several of the illegal cannabis growers they shut down earlier this year. I've been finding the ingredients for crocodile. Seventh, I've heard that 6 or 7 different places. In the last month and a half, 2 months, I've had at least a half a dozen people who have reached out to me to send me articles about similar things, about them finding, they're not finding croc, but they're finding the ingredients to make croc, and they're finding it everywhere, which is pretty frightening. Really frightening stuff. It's not a nice drug. Balake says, everyone hit the like button for the birthday boy. You know what? Balake is always on it, is he not? Alcohol use in Ireland, locally where Full of Hope is up 400%. That's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. And you know, when things get bad, people will do just about anything. And it may be one of the reasons that people are stocking up on these chemicals, because it certainly looks like things are going to be getting bad. Unpredictable Tony, have a great day. Have a great day. One sec here, peeps. I'm just checking something out here. Sorry. I'm having a brain fart, and it's driving me absolutely insane. Desomorphine. Oh, thank you. That's what crocodile is. Desomorphine. It's a bathtub version of desomorphine. And I saw your email back, Tony. I read it about 3 minutes before I went live. And I am almost caught up, people. Today I should be getting back to anybody that I have not talked to. I am that close. Let's see here. It is awful. It is awful. Full of Hope says, I'm scared for all these people. It's a road to chaos. No question. I do too, Scoob. I do too. I think I'm going to go shopping today. I've been on a mattress. I borrowed a mattress from somebody. It is not an ideal setup. It's a whole lot better than what I was doing, but I need to just go out and buy one. And it's the delivery that scares the hell out of me. It's not the buying. It's not the setting up. But my driveway is like the North Face. You got to drive in pitons to get up my driveway. It's a truck. It's amazing that the people that brought the stuff here, the people that brought this stuff to my home in Arizona, it was amazing that they ever got this thing up the hill. So, sorry. So backing up, John Doe, I would absolutely celebrate turning 70. It's an accomplishment. You know, we all did a lot of stuff in our lives that probably should have ended our lives. We've all done things that I look today at my birthday and I think of how many people didn't make 50. I think of how many people didn't make 40. I think how many people didn't make 30. The number of no one is yet. Conchetta Truth Seeker says thousands of people are getting set free from addictions instantly. Believe me, this is real. God is doing a new thing. Many of us have been praying for years for this. For some reason, God chose 2023. Well, I love the idea. Hope that you're right. Love to see all of that. Full of hope. Have a great day. Man lucky to be alive as car jumps bridge. Oh, that sounds frightening. Will said, I was going to say you look pretty good for 70 years old. Yeah, I feel 70 years old. These people are being pulled across the globe because of this. Conchetta, you know what? I'd love to do a little research about that and maybe do a show on it. Why don't you reach out to me at sober, SOBER, sober at myyahoo.com. If you reach out to me at sober at myyahoo.com and give me a little bit more information on where I can look, I will research the crap out of this. Started here in the U.S., and now gone global in 6 months. Started 6 months ago. Okay, so February, it started here in the U.S. Well, I'm going to have to look into it. I'm not proud of some stuff, but I don't dwell. I just move forward. Well, that being said, I'm a convicted bank robber and gun runner who destroyed a couple of marriages, a couple of families, thousands of people. Just was a complete and utter dirtbag. But you know what? Our past is our past, and we can't do anything about it except learn from it. It's all we can get out of it. The past is fantastic if it educates. If it doesn't, it's worthless. Happy birthday, Captain. Thank you. Cherish and love this day and every day to the fullest, for it will never happen again. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. You're absolutely right. That's, as Benny Hill used to say, live every day as if it's your last, and someday you'll be right. And I always thought that was pretty funny. And that, very kind of you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Really, I do. Brandon, how are you, my brother? Always a pleasure to see you. Happy 16th birthday, Tommy. See, James Novak knows how to play the game. That man knows how to play the game. Because I'm not really 16, but I'm close to acting like I'm 16. 2, A is absolute. Good to see you, Tim. Hello, good people, says Tim. A lot of good people here on the lifeboat. 38 days sober. Brandon Galloway. Well done, Brandon. By the time you come here tonight, or tomorrow morning, I will have hopefully found the participation trophy. People, I still have about 60 boxes that I need to go through, and it is just, it's daunting. I'm going to try to take off sometime today to not do anything. That's the theory anyway. Okay, Guy, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Trainee Human, good to see you, man. Always a pleasure to see you. You know what? Brandon, this one's for you, bud. I am super, super, super proud of you. You know what? This is not a record for you, but this is a long one. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is not. Face green smiling. Well, there's a lot of truth to that, and I am brutally, brutally immature and have been for a long time. I'm working on it. Well, I'm not, but I might start next year. I am gonna tighten up my game. I really am. I mean, I'm a little immature. My daughter likes to tell me whenever the two of us are together that she's the grown up in the room. She thinks that's just a really funny thing to say, but she's probably right. Cedar is she's far more intelligent than her dad, and she probably is often the adult in the room. Tommy, I can empty those boxes in a flash. Let me at them. Oh, sounds good. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 15 full-size ones you can do right here, and 3 or 4 times that in other rooms. Sounds good to me, Annette. I'll leave the front door open. Get it done. T-Gun also congratulating you, Brandon. All right, peeps. That brings us to the top of the hour. Hey, Squirrel, where you at? Come here, Squirrel. That worthless little animal is somewhere touring the house. You know what's funny is Squirrel can get into 5th gear because of the size of the house. Instead of, it's not 2 floors. It's all on. It's all one level. Right? It's a ranch house, so very, very, very big slate floor, and the Squirrel can literally get it up into 5th gear. When moving, you seem to have more boxes than you actually packed. And once you unpack, you have more than you did before you moved. Tim, you're a genius. It's exactly what happened. Now, if you can tell me why that happens. Lisa K, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad that you're here. Have a great day. Stephanie, Amity, have a great day. Hold up. I have a daughter who is an addict. I need prayers for her and her baby's father. I am desperately trying to get them in rehab. Their lives and those that love them are being destroyed. I pray. Stephanie, I have a question. What is their substance of choice? I'm sorry, peeps. I'm going to stick around for this one. We're going to go a little bit longer. Stephanie, what is their drug of choice? This is relevant. There's some things that the lifeboat might be able to do to help. Kathy, we'll be here for you. Even if you can only pop in for a minute, we will stop what we're doing and help you calm down. Do breathing exercises with you, whatever we need to do. We're here for you. All right. My husband watches and enjoys this. Tommy, he's a normie. Wow. I love it. I love that he watches. That's so cool. Hers is crystal meth and pills. His is heroin and fent. Okay. Stephanie, reach out to me at sober@myyahoo.com. SOBER myyahoo.com. And I will talk to you about some things that, yeah, fentanyl is super hard to break, but there are things that we can do. Please reach out to me. sober@myyahoo.com. If I don't get back to you today, I will tomorrow. Today's going to be an adventure. Thank you all so much for sharing your morning with me. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and the cat is not in the basket. I'm heartbroken about it too. I will see all of you on the deck of the boat. Make it a great day, peeps, and thanks for all of the well wishes. Appreciate you.